Next up, it's Malta versus Israel in the challenge competition. So we'll be coming with the lineups for you, and obviously the players, they're in the huddles now. They'll be called onto court shortly for this 5th game of day 2 at the Netball Europe Open Championships. So a lot of encouragement in both huddles for both Malta and Israel. If you've seen anything of Israel, they're feisty, determined, full of enthusiasm and zest and passion. The words just go on. They're just a great set of individuals who overcome so many barriers to be at the competition. It's great to see them back after 3 years of absence. They're taking part in this competition, and don't we know it, they've got such great commitment to this game. Coming onto court for Malta, we can just go through the squad for Malta. Goalkeeper, it's Margaret Camilleri. Goal defence, Tamara Vella. At wing defence, Reina Pace. At centre, Francesca Ferrugia. At wing attack, Lucretia Hilly. At goal attack, Josephine Galea. At goal shooter, Karin Zea, Boutigig. And obviously their bench players too that we've also seen a little bit of today. And this is Israel bringing their 7 onto court, going with goal shooter Tazil Kupchik. Goal attack, Naomi Komar. What an impact she had this morning in the Israeli game. At wing attack, Tracy Power. At centre, Laura Krasnostein. Wing defence, Mian Eitan. At goal defence, Tal Segev. And at goalkeeper, Shoshana Berman. And there you see the full lineup from Israel. Our umpires for this game. We're seeing Abednego Chetelo from Botswana, Natalie Gregan, an England umpire, and reserve umpire Chakatsa Lepoli. So Natalie, we talked a lot through the day about the work of Komar, the goal attack for Israel. She's just feisty, does all she can to win ball. Here she is in possession now. Any thoughts? Have you seen much of her around the competitions?
I've only seen a little bit of the Israeli goal attack actually, but the Malta goal defence would be my player for that team, so that'll be a fantastic matchup then to see those two against each other.
So we're looking closely at that connection there. We're looking at the opponent Vela playing against Komar. And there she is. That was the first goal on the board for Komar. Look at that enthusiasm, whirling that team on.
It's good to see nice strong drives through from Malta. That's one thing they struggled with a little bit during the tournament, is getting stuck in that middle third.
Yes, we talked as well about Ferrugia, the centre for Malta, and just trying to use that turn of speed through the court. And they were more patient in the game today, that a lot have commented about their ability just to take that extra ball through the court as well. So an easy team to play against?
No, definitely not. Not an easy team at all. They never give in. They keep fighting all the time. They never give you an inch. They're a very man-on-man team, and I think we are as well. So that was quite evident in our game against them. But I think that they can be done easier on a better change of direction. So seeing the movement already from the Israeli attack, it will definitely be a big challenge for Malta in this game.
So some previous results for Malta. They played the USA in their first game yesterday, losing out there 41-51. They then came up against Switzerland. That's the team that Natalie is involved with. And it was a 39-23 win there for Switzerland. So a big margin in the end. But as you say, Natalie, they're feisty. They play a strong game. They've learnt an awful lot. And as we witnessed this morning in your game, that they've just got a bit more structure in their play and really do try and open up the court by that real width and opening up and swinging the ball around the circle as well.
Yeah, and they're very patient. They don't tend to force balls down court too much. If there's nothing on in front, they're quite happy to send it back. And even though the gap does look like a big gap, it was certain small periods of play where it was longer runs in terms of turnover rather than a consistent turnover. So as long as they can be a bit more consistent against Israel, they should potentially do better.
And sometimes we're not quite sure what to expect with Israel. You can see the defence there. They play a short game. They're a bit unorthodox in their play, but it works for them at times. And it's hard in these early minutes for teams just to adjust to that short game and not really knowing what they're going to do with the ball.
Yeah, it's really interesting, their style of sitting back as well. So not really challenging in the middle third, but actually challenging the end third. And I'm not sure that's something that Malta will have met yet. And so it might just be enough to put them off in this first quarter. Pressure on these teams as well, considering from both countries it's really hard to get a lot of match play. So having that pressure and having that intensity of being behind is something that they don't necessarily have to deal with very often. So it can become quite a mental game.
And just in terms of world rankings, obviously both of these two teams, they're not ranked. There's a rating, and a rating is what both Malta and Israel have. That's a measure of the average performance of the team over a series of matches, and each team earns a certain number of points for each international match. So their rating is the total number of points earned divided by the number of international matches that they've played. So rated but not ranked are these two teams. And I'm sure they're destined to try and obtain a ranking, but it is about the opportunity just to get those international matches on the board, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what, this is such a fantastic experience having USA here as well and Grenada here, because it just means more matches that we can play, and like you say, the more matches you play, the more chance you are of getting better rankings, and it's just a fantastic opportunity.
So, tied at the moment. We expected this game to be relatively close. So far, it's delivering exactly that. And just a bit more patience there from the Israeli attack, just working that ball round. Kupchik just electing to try and offload that ball and set herself closer to the post. Can't fault the work of Camilleri, the goalkeeper for Malta. Look at that contest, Natalie. She's up there on the body of Kupchik.
Yeah, and that's what they do really, really well. Malta man-on-man is really tough defence to get around. And not only are they good at being that man-on, they're also good at moving their feet as well.
And there we see, just in your shot there, that was Naomi Komar, just pausing for breath. She works so hard in the goal attack role. The Israeli, she'll be desperate to put out a good performance.
Interesting seeing Israel have obviously been watching, Malta have obviously been watching Israel as well, because that double from the centre is back on the goal attack and leaving the wing attack to take first phase. So they obviously want to put pressure on her early on to try and take her out of her stride a little bit.
They were Switzerland's tactics this morning. Don't give anything away.
Still 2 more matches to go.
So lots to play for in this challenge competition. Impressed with the improvements and the developments of Malta and what they've done in terms of their game. But as Natalie says, they're very tight on that one-on-one. They're more patient in their build-up. They're working hard to set the structure up, particularly impressed with their attacking work around that circle edge. It's just about keeping their positional set up, and often see the eagerness of the Maltese. Lucretia Hilly, she's always wanting to get into play, and at times she can draw herself too high on the court. That just exposes those two shooters at the back.
Yeah, and I mean, without going too much into tactics, that was definitely something that we'd noticed going into the Malta game before, was that they can be encouraged quite easily, the wing attack and goal attack, into that middle third. And if you can keep them there and obviously put real pressure then on that ball going through to the shooter, it's easier to win ball that way.
And there she is again. That's Komar, just not able to convert, but she's in there for the rebound. And it's Kupchik, she manages to get that one, secured the goal. That's Israel in the lead, 6-5 in this first quarter. Fallujah there, just almost getting into the space too soon, just crowded the ball carrier there. Just need to keep their width as they move through to goal, but secured it. That's Josephine Galea, the goal attack for Malta. And as you said, Natalie, really tight, the Maltese in that defence, really up on the body of the Israeli attack.
Yeah, and Israel just swinging the ball to open that space. Yeah, that's the downside of having a man-on-man defence. If you can allow that swing, then when you're non-ball side, you automatically then become ball side. So the man-on-man defence is great, but they might need to do a bit of work on preventing that swing from happening.
That was a great late entry into the circle there by Josephine Galea. She's got possession now and she converts. Great play by Malta, but look at that smile. Just applauding herself, but sending a message out to the bench there, enjoying their netball, the Israeli 7 on court. And just some messages that came in from yesterday. Israel just down as everyone's favourite team after day one. If you've not seen it, just check out the dancing video on the Netball Europe Facebook page. That's something, that's a sight. That's just wonderful to view. But it was yesterday, Naomi Komar, the goal attack. She was the star. She loves to play the crowd. And just seeing the reaction after every goal. But Segev, their goal defence, was also a player that stood out in day one, certainly made a difference today in the earlier game at goal defence. There's so much energy that goes just celebrating the goal, Natalie.
Yeah, so nice to see. And to be fair to them, they're lovely girls off the court as well. Whenever you see them around the hotel, they're always smiling, they're always saying hello. They're a really friendly team out off court as well, which is always really nice at this type of competition because you're all bundled together.
So lots of friendships made between squads as well, as much as enemies on court maybe.
Yeah, the girls definitely get to know each other during tournaments like this, and I think you get to know certain teams better than others because you see them more often, but hopefully we'll see a lot more of Israel in the next few coming years, and I'm sure friendships will be made.
And Israel talk a lot about netball being relatively new, relatively unknown to a lot of their population. These are the players that will be the role models, the ones that try and encourage more individuals to get involved and play this game. it's so good to see them back in the Netball Open Championship and this challenge event. Secured goal there, and that's Buttigieg. She manages to put a goal away for Malta.
She is a force to be reckoned with. When she's on form, she can pretty much shoot from anywhere.
And that's another one on the boards quickly for Malta with Galea, the goal attack. Just 2-goal advantage now. Important that Israel really try and score this goal.
You can see the centre coming back to set up on the Malta centre there, just so that she gets more space driving into pocket, so they can allow that swing ball.
And there she goes. This is Nomi Komar. She secures another goal. This is a chance for them after the error there from Malta, just a chance to move this ball through to tie the score. Just forcing that overhead. Not quite got the accuracy there just to put that ball into the pocket. Ferrugia just finding herself free there, linking well with Galea at goal attack.
Yeah, good use of the pocket ball.
So just a few errors creeping into the Israeli attack as we move into the final 30 seconds of this first quarter. It's Malta that have started to dominate, but don't give up on the Israeli side. Look at them working just to try and keep this ball out. But it's Buttigieg. She'll get the chance to put this one away. Oh, great rebounds. That's Sigev, the impact player of day one. Certainly making a difference for Israel. So we finish this first quarter. It's Malta 12, Israel 10. And Natalie, potentially a little bit of work to do for Israel in and around their attacking circle. You'd expect probably some words about passing accuracy, ball placement.
Yeah, possibly. I think Malta seem to have settled a bit now as well, so you can see them just putting their foot down a bit. I'd also want Israel to be a bit careful on their defensive line, because it's a line at the top of the circle, and I think Malta are just starting to use the pockets a bit more. So maybe a bit more man-on defence from Israel now.
So we can potentially just go courtside to listen in to see what the Maltese are saying to their players, what is being communicated across to those players.
Għax qed toqgħodilha flet. Get at an angle. Ħalli tara li l-fejsera xi tagħmilha change of direction waħda lem u law. Right? So angle your body ħatara ħajja. Beżad naqgħod tal-idej. Imissa m'għandek xogħol.
Għax id-dellek iżommuni, tagħlek li taħalluni noħroġ għas-center pass. Kif? Tara, ħarġet barra, ħarġet id-defensura magħha tija dik is-sekonda ċans, tmurlek lura u tkun waħda taħt il-post. Waħda tkun taħt il-post. Qed taħallu li noħroġ għas-center pass biex imbagħad iżommuni biex nifhmu ma toqgħodx barra. Idħolu.
Mela.
Għadna ma s-sekil jgħajna. Ejja.
Madumma.
Isa baga. X'ta tagħmel li trid biha? Ejja.
Is-setilja. U jekk palissa kont il-bord, all right, il-ċans
Imma xorta
kellek fejn tiġi qudiem, naħseb. Ndunajt, imma għamilt ħafna lura. Waħda and go. Waħda and go.
Smarja, għalfejn nagħmlu daqshekk konti.
Hija sejt pass.
Iktar pass minnu. Għalfejn nagħmlu dawk il-contact.
So lots of information being communicated out there. It is about just getting that body angle right on defence, but as attackers, making sure those options are there for that ball carrier, creating the options by some movement off the ball. And as we just look down to the Israeli bench, still communicating strong, the coaching team's willing this team on, trying to just correct, as we thought, a little bit around the placement of the ball, just not relying on that overhead pass, the aerial ball all the time. And just listening in then to what these coaches are saying to the Israeli squad.
First time? Towards. Sometimes you're running down the channel, like straight down the channel, but at some point you need to cut back in. And that's why you need to even do it earlier, so that you've got time to go down the channel and then back in. You are moving early, but I would even start moving earlier than you are already, like even earlier. Push it, like really start before Lara's near the circle. Start. All right, guys.
So we're about to start quarter two. Malta, they're back on court, ready to get this game underway. Israel, a little bit slower coming out there, but they're back on. So we're expecting some different changes in the play from Israel, a little bit more accuracy in their execution of this pass, particularly on attack.
That's great circle defence there. A real split, but both had great angles, so they could really see what was going on behind them. Forcing the 3 seconds turnover ball. And a great screen by the goal shooter as well, releasing the goal attack. And they get it on their second chance.
So just some changes to report then for the Israel lineup. We see Krasnostein, she moves to wing defence, and that opens up the centre position for Chani Stosel. She moves in for the second quarter from the bench, and at centre, that change might just make a difference, might just give a little bit more momentum to Israel through that mid-court. Should we have expected those changes, particularly just mixing up their attack?
Yeah, I think the height at wing defence, that doesn't surprise me. Like I said, some of the balls going quite deep into the pockets and then an easier feed in. Maybe that's just to put a bit more pressure on that overhead ball. And as far as their ball placement is concerned, maybe they back the centre on her feeding into the circle. It's definitely different in terms of the different countries as well, and the different sections for making sure you rest your players. So a lot of these players won't be used to having 4 days of competition, and rest and recovery is really important, but it's the ability of the body to withstand playing 4 quarters at high intensity.
And the chances of these teams having simulated something like this is probably it's not going to happen, is it? So the intensity is far greater than normal.
Yeah, it is very difficult. I mean, a lot of them will get touring sides. I know Malta have touring sides going out, so you can get some competition, but not 4 days at this pace.
So what can Shani Stossel do at centre for Israel in this second quarter? We've already just talked about Krasnostein. She's moved to wing defence. That's given a little bit of height there just to try and close down, to shut down the fluency of the Maltese as they work their ball through to goal. A good rebound from Calimeri.
Just struggling to get depth on the ball.
If anybody would have watched Malta maybe 3-4 years ago, they were very quick to just see the first mover give the ball away, but they're far more measured and thoughtful. Their decision making's improved, their court craft's improved. I've witnessed a massive change in what I've seen in these two games today. You must have seen that as well.
Yeah, you know what, we as a nation for Switzerland thought that we'd improved a lot coming into this tournament, and to some extent I think before having seen Malta play today, I think we might have underestimated, before seeing them play the USA, I think we might have underestimated them, but when we watched them play the USA it was really obvious how much they'd improved over the last year, and so we might have been a little bit nervous going into the game. The partnership between the goal attack and goal shooter as well has improved so much.
Yes, developing an understanding with your fellow shooter just makes a big difference, and Galea, Vucicek just support each other so well, and as does everybody in the Maltese lineup, but it is good to see two shooters with that understanding, starting to read off each other and make those effective decisions under pressure.
Yeah, they create a lot of space. One of them runs the base and the other one runs the top, and they really open the circle up.
Just when we were praising them, they give the ball away, but that was effective defence from Israel.
Commentator's curse.
Yeah, I've had that a few times today. But you were saying about Switzerland maybe underestimating them. What is it that they've changed, they've done about their game that you've seen? Where's the change visible?
I think, like I say, in the shooting circle, they definitely seem to be working better as a unit, so together. So structurally, they have improved for me. Also, their defensive circle, I think, as a unit has improved. So in total, I think I'd say their structure. And generally, that's at this level, if you improve the structure, you improve the game by quite a lot.
Just forcing that ball there, so just the unforced errors creeping in again. Important, Israel just stay in touch with this 3-goal lead that Malta have extended. You're listening to Our Thoughts. We're interested, wherever you are in the world, watching this Netball Europe Open Challenge competition. Send us your thoughts. Use the Twitter hashtag NEOpen16. And we'll do our best to read out your thoughts, your comments.
It's an interesting rule that I think some people get confused on with the new rule changes, the not wholly within. And just to clarify, because I know that some of us were confused at some point in time, was you have to have 1 foot wholly within that circle. So even though your second foot can be out, 1 foot does have to be wholly within, and Malta just getting called there for their foot being over the line.
Yes, just seeing that players almost relax themselves on the rule, but critical that if the 1 foot's crossing, both feet are crossing the line. We've seen probably a lot of those calls as well, so
Yeah, and it's the first time a lot of these nations have experienced the new rules as well, so it's a lot of the players are experiencing it for the first time. And sometimes you need to make those mistakes really to get the clarity of understanding behind what the new rules actually are. But I must say the umpires at this tournament are absolutely fantastic, and they are quite happy at any point in time. Outside of the arena, if we're confused, we've asked a couple of questions, and they're so helpful and happy to help and explain those rules to the players. Oh, fantastic shot.
So definitely finding their form, Malta, just starting to extend their lead. And a footwork call there, so a little bit of disappointment for Buttigieg, the goal shooter for Malta.
Oh, that's a great ball. Malta really seem to be finding their stride now. Their passing accuracy has improved, their pace through court has improved. It's just whether Israel can come back now and match that.
It's good pressure, good defensive work from Malta, just forcing the ball back there. Israel just getting caught, as you talked about, that tight one-on-one defence just affecting Israel now. They're just struggling, hiding behind their opponent. It's so important just to work off the ball, to get rid and pull this defensive pressure off their body.
Yeah, and Malta, they're intelligent players, you know. You use the same style of getting free from them and they will adapt their style of play to combat that. So I think for their change of direction for Israel, they need to just get some depth as well as width, instead of just doing the side to side, actually add some forward and back into it to just mix it up a bit.
You hear coaches constantly talking about that, where players, particularly in the attack, just go in that lateral move as opposed to just using a bit more of the back space to come forwards and generally just working that area of the court a little bit more. And that's what almost the learning that the Israelis could benefit from, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a defender, it's so much harder to change direction and go back and go up. And as an attacker, if you're going to the side and then stepping forwards, you can cut off the defence as well. So using depth can be really important.
Kept that one in, Galea. Oh, another footwork call. So something happening down there with Buttigieg. She's just got to look closely at that footwork. So can Israel just secure another goal as they work this ball through? Oh, disappointment again. Just these unforced errors creeping into their play. That's an interesting one. You've got the wing defence from Malta, Pace. She's almost asking the attack to come up. The attack seem to be holding back. We'd like to probably see the defence just bring that ball through into the mid-court.
Yeah, and confusion is the worst if there's two different game plans and you're not sure which one it is you're playing to. That was a great shutdown by Foroughier. She's definitely another favourite of mine. She's a real workhorse. She never gives up. She's always there for the ball. As soon as it's turned over, she's back in defence.
Oh, shooter's free there. Just decided, Foroughier, just to play that ball back to the transverse line. But here she is again. Good decision to swing that ball, asking for the movement, the repositioning of her shooters. They're just getting caught behind, but that's better popped out there. Buttigieg, she's been a key playmaker through this first half. We talked a little bit about the changes. Do you think there'll be more changes just because of fatigue and players being able to last the 60 minutes, Natalie?
I'm not sure whether they will from the Malta bench. I think they'll be out to secure this, and from what I've seen so far, they've got a real strong lineup out there on court. I think for Israel, they could well mix it up. It depends what you want from your tournament as well. When developing, you've really got to balance sort of your performance and your results against player development. So if this is the first time back after 3 years for Israel to be in an international competition, they could well also be looking at getting players court time, getting them the experience, and not necessarily matching up player to player in terms of strengths. But knowing Malta's competitiveness, I can't imagine that they'll be playing for getting people on court.
Just caught there on the contact. Berman almost got her feet round just to close off that front drive and that ball side drive of Galea. So final seconds of the second quarter in this tie for the Challenge Cup. This is Malta versus Israel. It's 21 to Malta, 17 to Israel. Chance in these final seconds for Malta to put another goal on the board. And who to put it away? Well, the safe hands of Galea. She secures this goal. It's Israel's centre pass. They've got to be quick if they want to take this ball to goal. It's got to find itself in the circle with a shot. And there it goes. Can she put this ball away? Oh, no goal. That's the decision of the umpire.
And they're still smiling.
But what a chance. And credit to Komar. She was quick to put that ball up there with just a few seconds. And such a spirited girl, full of enthusiasm, enjoying every single second. So it's half time. It's Malta 22, Israel 17. But as we said, this is the Israel team. There's the wave. They've enjoyed this competition so far, loving every minute, learning every minute. They're so pleased to be back on court after a 3-year break. We'll go down to courtside and just see if we can listen in to the Israeli bench and what's being talked about.
The only way to make your shooting work is to keep putting them up. Okay? יש לך קור רוח שאת לא חייבת, את לא צריכה לדאוג. Okay? ואם לא, you put it up, follow. Okay? Just keep putting it up. Keep putting it up because your shooting is great. You don't have to worry. And just because she's struggling, make sure you're still looking for who the best option is. Okay? לא לחשוש. אולי לא יהיה סף. You know, just keep shooting, putting it into them, looking for that movement. Okay?
Yeah. If your wing attack gets it, try to pick it up. Because Laura will be like,
تعود ايش في الخيمة
your wing attack gets it. I think it's where I send it. Maybe you can get that.
Guys, it's working super well, like really well done. Great feeding, like some really like intelligent play going on around the circle edge. You guys are moving very well. I think that the rotation is happening really well, and quite a few times one of you's managed to get space around the back. And those feeds, when one of you was playing,
I'm so used to being out.
mhux wara, issa min għodha fjara xibta li il-kamera saħħa bil-biċin. Issa taqaf l-għadi ta' fil.
Sveta skont il-lof namlu għal kif għanċe.
ċaħta, ma tiflaħ kompri jew le? Jekk taħseb li tħossa jdimna mill-ewwel.
Ġebbi dan niswa.
So still the spirit that we expected from the Israeli bench, lots of communication, just a need to still just work on those options that are available coming through the court. For Malta, it's been an impressive performance. They've got this 5-goal lead, but Israel still chasing, not giving up, not losing their spirit, their fight to try and close down this deficit. Again, just moving in. Some final words down there from the Israeli coach.
She's got a lot of contact there. She's got a lot of contact called on her by just being strong and not letting her push you. So then she pushes more and then she's just contacting. Yofi, really please guys, just keep up the intensity. Remember, like, this is it. Like, there's nothing left afterwards. You've got no reason to conserve any energy. Guys, I want us to be at least level, if not ahead, at the end of this quarter, okay? That's the goal. Level. At least level or ahead by the end of the quarter. Huh?
Even at
יאללה חבר'ה, באותו קצב, חיוך על הפנים, go for it. Just carry on having fun and use all the same rest. Right? This is our game.
אני ראיתי אותך קוראת, אני ראיתי אותך צועקת, שמעת אותי? את שמעת? אני שמעתי. אני הייתי מה זה מבסוטה, אני אמרת שמעתי אותך!
So we're just about to move into the next quarter, and the words from Israel, they're fighting to get this score level. They're looking to win the quarter, bring this scoreline to an even score. They're full of energy down there. There's an awful lot being talked about. Still the smiles, that passion that we've witnessed through this competition. We've talked about Malta. Will you expect Malta just to drive ahead with this scoreline now, or is it possible for Israel?
You know, I think my brain says that Malta will drive ahead. I think they'll push on in this quarter. But I can't help but smile looking at the Israeli team and the smiles that they have on their faces all the time. So I think my heart hopes that they can pull it back.
So we've all fallen into the trap of really enjoying the spirit of the Israeli team. They've added so much value on and off the court. Players are getting back on court. It's Malta 22, Israel 17. Let's just run you through the changes and the sevens on court as we look to get going in quarter three. We've got Berman at goalkeeper, Segev goal defence for Israel, Eitan wing defence, Krasnostein centre, Stosel at wing attack, goal attack Komar, she's staying on the court for this third quarter, goal shooter Kupchik. So some changes there for Israel as we move into quarter three. Taking a look at Malta, just one change. We see Camilleri, the goalkeeper, move to the bench, and Eleonora Cricchiola, she moves to goalkeeper for quarter three. So quarter 3 underway, Malta in possession. So starting this quarter as they finished with that excellent work, good timing from Galea, the goal attack from Malta.
It's a good start by Cricchiola getting a hand to that ball.
Komar just hiding at the back there, but she managed to receive that ball and put that ball away. Staying in touch, Israel, in this third quarter. I don't think that was planned.
You'd hope not.
You need a bit of luck, and that just falls nicely for Galea there. Ball coming through from Farrugia off the post. Deep breath. And that's Kupchik securing another goal for Israel. Just would sense that Israel need to just put a little bit more defensive pressure on the centre pass from Malta.
Yeah, that was really clinical through court play. If you were going to draw your route to goal, that was it. But I think wing attack from Malta as well. She's started to get that angle again on her run. So she's another player that sometimes can get quite flat and move side to side, and when she just takes a player away and then cuts back on an angle towards the edge of the circle, she's really hard to mark.
So still the goals keep creeping in for Israel. They're staying in touch with Malta. It's 5-goal deficit. Good structure again from Malta around that circle edge. Farrugia linking with Hilly, trying to find the shooter.
You also wonder as well whether the changes in the defensive circle just mean it takes a little bit of time to embed as a unit, just to be working together.
And there's someone who's just getting around the front. She's driving towards the ball fairly easily, uncontested. And that's the work of Josephine Galea, that goal attack for Malta.
There's some clever play in that goal circle as well for Israel, just setting up a few screens to open up that back space.
It's the work of Komar again, the goal attack. She just creeps away behind, sets herself up there. So some good work by Israel. Just got to try and break this 5-goal advantage that Malta have at the moment. This is Komar just to make the difference for, yes, she gets the goal, to the delight of the Israeli bench.
Must admit, normally it's the Malta team that are the loudest in the house, but today it might be Israel.
Oh, good rebound. That could be a crucial one. And that was Cricchiola, so she's come on to court in quarter 3. Made a difference. Good pick up there by the goal defence from Israel, Sejev. It's just about keeping possession, isn't it, and not forcing the ball, taking that high percentage risk.
Yeah, we've talked a lot in our team about when teams get a 3-goal run on you, how you respond to that. And I think the immediate reaction sometimes is to panic, and then when you have possession, really throw it down the court. And actually it needs to be the opposite, and making sure that every time you get possession you're really clinical with that possession and you look after the ball, and instead of taking too many risks, just make sure that you get it to goal. There is a time for risk taking, but when it's a close game it's possibly not the time. Not in terms of attack anyway.
So we're picking up the comments from Natalie, we're using them. I think anybody playing against Switzerland might just be listening to what you're saying, what information they might glean for any game tomorrow. So what's your game tomorrow? What's the plan?
Well, our game tomorrow is against Grenada, and I'd obviously love to give you the game plan, but we've not quite discussed it yet, so unfortunately I won't be able to share it. And Sam might fire me.
And there she goes again. That's the influential Naomi Komar, the goal attack for Israel. So we've got a 4-goal difference. Chance to make it 3.
Goal shooter roll then was really nice, but just a little bit too late.
Yeah, sometimes it's timing, isn't it, for the Israelis? They make the right move, but too soon or too late.
Yeah, I'd say across the board that's a problem. We have that too. And again, that's one of those critical points that we were talking about. They got the turnover from the Malta centre pass and then just couldn't convert their own centre pass.
Kept that in play, so Israel again just need the options, just got to work a little bit more off the ball, and that's a classic example there of Krasnostein just offloading that ball to the first person that came into her vision. Not the best option. It is just about holding that play, just taking some pace off that ball, making sure you sight the right option, make the right decision.
The Israeli centre there seems to be in quite a bit of pain. You can just see her on the side of the screen. She's been limping now for the last 30 seconds.
So just taking a look there at Stossel, the centre for Israel. She's trying to keep going.
I think she's trying to call time, but it's just not quite being noticed.
She just needs to move herself into the vision of Nico. There it goes, that's the time called.
I think that's another interesting point in international competitions is sometimes there's a language barrier. So I know we've sometimes had problems with girls who just speak French or just speak German, and that communication with the umpires sometimes is quite difficult. Luckily the umpires generally at Netball Europe have been really good in hand signals and being really clear on communicating through body language as opposed to just using words.
And that's just about making the game as accessible as it possibly can be, writing the rule book in the different languages. That's credit to the International Netball Federation and just the adjustments through this competition that the Netball Europe management team that they've put together just to allow Israel to, certainly in relation to the Sabbath and just making sure that they play their games at the right time.
Yeah, they're always so supportive, and I think sometimes it's amazing when you actually realise how few of them there are. You automatically assume that something on this scale is run by a workforce of people, and actually it's not that many, just very hard workers and very organised ones.
Yes, everyone just really giving credit to the Netball Europe board of staff, the volunteers that give their time so tirelessly, that allow events like this and live streaming like this to just connect with far more netball players around Europe and around the world.
Yeah, the streaming as well has been invaluable, especially for us. I know that there's some of our under-17s watching this back in Switzerland who have been tweeting the teams and tweeting pictures of the teams that they've got from from the streaming, so it's fantastic that they can watch it and be inspired by their national squad.
Yes, being a role model, being out there for your country is one thing, and it's a real achievement, but to equally serve as a fitting role model just to grow the game, that's what netball's about. That's the ambition, as Natalie mentioned, of those volunteers of the Netball Europe board. And this is the biggest competition for the Challenge Cup ever, so 5 regional teams, 2 invitational teams taking part, and obviously the opportunity to just maintain ranking, to play the different styles that you may come across, and I'm sure Switzerland would benefit from that experience as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were so excited about having the opportunity to play the USA in our group to begin with, and now also having that opportunity to play Grenada is absolutely fantastic, because it's just opportunities that are really difficult to get outside of a competition like this.
So another goal goes on the board. It's 31-25, so Malta just maintaining their lead. They've extended it back and up to 6 goals.
Just an offside mistake again there for Israel, so another point where they managed to turn the ball over on the Malta centre pass and then just giving away their own.
Good fast hands, good release there from Buttigieg right through to Galea. This is some good work by the 2 shooters from Malta, not afraid to switch their leads. We see there Galea just dropping back the goal attack into the circle. Just not able to put that ball through the line of defence to a fellow shooter. Can't fault their structure, Natalie, at times around the circle edge. It's good to see, isn't it, that discipline and the game plan.
Yeah, it is really nice, and I don't think I've seen the front 4 for Malta change, and I think, to be fair, this has probably been a practiced structure for them, and it's really paying off. The circle work sometimes is just beautiful.
She might be the smallest player in there, but she's certainly coming out with that aerial ball. That's Nomi Komar, the goal attack for Israel, just not able to convert on that occasion. And this might just see the biggest lead of the game going to Malta now. Galea, opportunity. Good rebound position. That's credit to Sejev, the goal defence from Israel.
Again, good partnership work. They're just struggling to convert, but there'll be another chance.
Just securing that goal. So again, play with Malta, looking to extend this lead into double figures.
They just seem to be so much more calm and composed this quarter now, just being really clinical with their play, not rushing it, not forcing it, happy to move the ball around to get to circle edge, and not necessarily shooting from distance, but getting into a really good position.
And we talked about that relationship with the 2 Maltese shooters, that their ability to just read off each other and rotate in the circle, switch their lead, so Galea drops back. They've really moved on in the game, and it's great to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's probably come from the coaching bench in terms of their calmness, because Buttigieg gets quite inconsistent if she's a bit further out, but when she's close to the post, she's a lot more composed, and those goals generally go in. So it could be a strategy of theirs just to make sure that they get to post so that they're not giving that ball away.
And that's an offside call there for the Israeli centre, Stosol. So pass to Malta. Good use there of the support from Farrugia. Just electing to use that 1-2 to take her through to post. That's good work from the goal shooter from Malta, Bujicek. So the end of quarter 3. It's not the result that Israel wanted. They were looking to tie the score at the end of this quarter. We've witnessed Malta just surge ahead to a 12-goal lead at the end of the third quarter. It's Malta 37, Israel 25. Credit to Malta, they've stuck to their game plan, they've set their structure, some superb developments in terms of the shooter pairing. We've enjoyed looking at what the shooters can do. It's time for Israel just to maybe regroup, see what they can put out in this final quarter. I'm sure we'll see some changes again from the Israeli bench, but let's go down to Malta. Let's see what the coaches down there are actually saying to the players about to return on court for quarter 4.
U bdejtu titkalmaw, mux dak il-ħafna ġen, anka, eżempju fil-kwart ta' qabel bdejtu sirinelli il-ballon, hesitating, issa kontu iktar kalmi. U xemma xirridu nipprovjaw. Tajjeb edin, nitridu tagħmlu drive-in għal-ballon. ħafna le, taħdmu iktar bħalatin. Speċjalment l-aħħar 5 minuti kienet il-logħba tagħna li nlogħbu ħafna.
Anka bħala kif tela l-ballon.
U bdejtu żommu l-ispazju u battu ħorġu. Battu weġġa, skummet namlu dritt, ma nagħtu. Kif nara joħorġu mill-ewwel. Ma nkunx nkun irid nżomma imma tant kemm joħorġu awtomatiċi. Għax jipprovaw iżommu l-ġuż għal-barra. Imma jekk teħdu, wara dejjem hemm. Anzi, bossi bellet li x'inhu għajbajlhom f'idea. Wieħed laki jimna ħaġa f'idea. Dak li laqtit naħħa mal-bowl.
So lots of information down there on the Maltese bench. We've not been able to interpret what's going on down there. I'm sure anyone back in Malta, you've enjoyed that commentary, listening to the coaches. But credit to Malta, they've extended their lead out to 12. It's a big ask of Israel. We sensed that momentum was sitting with Malta. They've got a sound game plan. They look the fitter nation at the moment, Natalie, don't they?
Yeah, definitely, although I'm expecting to see some changes from Malta now because they are heading into another game tomorrow against Gibraltar at 1 o'clock, so there's not too much of a turnaround for them, so you'd expect them maybe to try and rest their players. With a 12-goal lead, that's quite a good cushion.
Just going down to the Israeli bench, let's see if we can pick up any information that's being communicated down there.
You're not like able to follow as well, like pass and follow, but just don't go into them.
And here we go again. So the message from the Israeli bench: give it all you've got, leave nothing behind. That's definitely got to be their motto. We know they'll not leave anything behind. They'll be working right through the 60 minutes. credit to Malta. They've played and executed their game plan. They've been disciplined throughout the court. We've witnessed some great play so far with their attacking unit, in particular that good solid relationship that's emerging with and has emerged between Galea and Buttigieg.
We've actually got a tweet from Ewan Simpson who says the enthusiasm the Israeli team bring is contagious. Love watching them play. Hashtag any Open 16.
Excellent. So everybody out there, everybody in at Sports Central here at Northumbria University in Newcastle, really loving the atmosphere in and around the court with the Israelis out there. It's their first time in 3 years, so they've come back to this championship and they're putting out their strongest performance.
I think 4 of the Israeli team were playing 3 years ago in the World Youth Championships, and one of the Israeli team was team manager for them.
And just one change to bring to you. So for Malta, Pace, she goes to the bench, and we welcome Jessica Ferrugia onto the wing defence. So just a reminder, we've got Francesca Ferrugia at centre, Jessica Ferrugia at wing defence.
Question would be, is it the sister?
And I was just about to ask you that question.
We'll have to look a bit closely and see if we can see any resemblances. If anyone out there listening knows the answer to that, feel free to tweet us and let us know.
So we might have seen Northern Ireland with their sister partnership of the Bowmans. We want to know from you, if you're aware, we'll be looking out to find out the information. What's the relationship between the two Ferrugias out there representing Malta on court in this final quarter?
Israel definitely putting their bodies on the line to get that ball. And the crowd very much appreciated that goal. Clever defence there by Malta. Komar trying to set up the screen again for the ball into backspace, and they're just coming off the body a bit now to make sure that they don't get stuck.
And here she goes, but just not enough on that. Just fatigue setting in a little bit for Naomi Komar. And this is Malta again, taking the ball through to goal. Just not a lot of defensive pressure on them so far. Trying to put that high ball in. Just ran out of court space there, Galea. And looking for the long ball, it gets there. 3 passes. Pressure's on, and there she is again. That's Komar. A bit more height on this one, but too much on that shot for her.
Oh, great shot. That was almost a basketball shot.
Again, safely delivered through to Galea, really strong on that front hold, just keeps the defence out of the mix, puts a body between the ball. Closing out any defence opportunity, so good work by Malta, but you can't fault the Israelis. They're still working to try and just disrupt this play through the court.
I think even Malta have come out with a lot more energy, especially in the back. They seem to be really going on stuff this time. I mean, they had a good quarter last quarter, but they just seem to have stepped up the pace.
And umpire Natalie Gregan just resetting there. Here we go again. This is Galea. What a game she's had. Such a strength for the Malta attack. There she is. She's looking a little bit fatigued, but I'm sure we'll just see her work her way through to the final whistle. Anyone else stood out for you in today's game, Natalie?
Yeah. I mean, mimicking what you said earlier, the goal attack Omar for Israel is obviously a fantastic player and has been really influential in the game. Just fight, movement, spirit, consistently lifting the team. Even there, quick high five, celebrating the goal. It doesn't matter what quarter it is, what score it is. She doesn't let them drop. For Malta, I think Firouzia's played well at centre. She's had a really good game. I think she's been influential in slowing the play down a bit for Malta when they just rushed a little bit. She's bringing it back under control and playing patient play from the circle edge. And the two circle players we've mentioned, just Courtcraft has been very nice today.
So just witnessing the structure there, you can see that balance around the circle edge with the Firouzia's centre and wing attack, opening up the circle there, and we've enjoyed watching the rotation, the holding, that ability to read off each other, and that's come from Galea and Buttigieg, the goal shooter for Malta. So just under 7 minutes remaining in this game. You can see the scoreline there. We've definitely enjoyed what we've seen so far, get a sense that it is Malta's day, but we must give credit to Israel. They've worked hard. We've seen different combinations on the court. This is their first return to the Open competition in 3 years. It's great to see them back, and as you've commented out there on social media, on Twitter, and the crowd here, what a revelation. What great passion they show for this game. And it's so good to have them in Newcastle and on court.
Daniel Grech on Twitter has come to our aid on the sister question, saying, I can assure you that the Firouzja girls aren't sisters. In an island as small as ours, everyone's surname is Firouzja.
So now we know. Thank you for that. That's good to know. We'll be looking out for more Firouzjas then as we move on and see the development of Malta and their netball. And for those of you that are looking out for the challenge competition, just to go through some of the confirmed matches for Saturday the 14th of May. At 9 o'clock, first up will be the USA against the Republic of Ireland. So 9 o'clock, USA versus Republic of Ireland. 11 o'clock, Switzerland versus Grenada. 1 o'clock, it's Malta versus Gibraltar. So they're the confirmed games for tomorrow. And let's go into the afternoon. And the final game of the championship will come at 7 o'clock, and that will be Grenada versus the USA. So 4 challenge games tomorrow. In between, 3 o'clock, it's Wales versus Northern Ireland in the championship, followed by England versus Scotland at 5, again a championship game. So a lot of netball to look out for tomorrow at the Netball Europe Open Challenge competition and championship competition running parallel.
I think those lineups for tomorrow as well are very evenly matched games. So at a guess, if I was to say now, I'd say that they will all be very tight and very exciting.
So Switzerland, they're going to come up against the height of Cato, that long area ball. People comment, say, well, it's boring netball, but it's successful netball. So you've got to prepare for that. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah. I must say our goalkeeper's face was very interesting watching that game, and we have had conversations about how we're going to cope with that. But I can understand the critics saying about it being boring, that long feed, but actually I think it can be combated, and it also you can't take away from the accuracy of some of those feeds as well, and some of them are very, very good placement. So I think it'll be anything but boring.
Yes, so lots to look out for tomorrow. 6 games, tight games. That's the prediction from Natalie Pepperell, the assistant coach from Switzerland. It's a big ask of Switzerland. We'll be interested to know what their game plan is for tomorrow, coming up against that stalwart shooter of Letitia Cato for Grenada. And for those interested in the championship, the Wales versus Northern Ireland, England versus Scotland, 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock tomorrow. So we're into the final minutes of this fixture, this match, Malta versus Israel. Malta managing to take this game out to a 14-goal lead. Still working, still getting that ball through. But the attempts to disrupt, Sejev, she's worked hard at goal defence for Israel, coupled with Berman, really doing the best to close down. But at the end of the day, the Maltese shooters, they've got their court craft. We've seen a real mix of strategy put out by them today.
I have to mention the tweet by Netball Switzerland, otherwise they'll tell me off, that they did the French netball rules for INF with pleasure.
And that's great. To know that the rule book is so much more accessible. Understanding the rules is one thing, but trying to potentially, or having to understand them, not in your first language, that would be very difficult for anyone. So it's great to see the translations are now there across the world as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so impressed by these two teams and their fight. 1.5 minutes to go and they're still giving everything on court, going for every ball. Good stretch and cover by the goalkeeper.
So it might not be a day for Israel, this might not be the result they wanted, but they fought tirelessly throughout the 60 minutes. We've seen some positional changes, substitutions, a lot of changes for Israel, but it's their first time back in 3 years to the challenge competition. It's so great to see them back on court. They've added enormous value, as we've talked about, in their passion and drive and enthusiasm. Particularly this individual who's about to get the ball, that's Naomi Komar, the goal attack. We're willing this shot in for Naomi Komar. Yes, there it goes. Final seconds, she started the game well, scoring some early goals. She's certainly been an impact player for Israel. So final 20 seconds approaching. Can Malta secure one final goal? It's a penalty in the circle. Safe hands of Galea, but no, not on this occasion. Time's ticking. Final shot. And Yes, the indication from Natalie Gregan, the umpire, is that goal was allowed. So it's the final scoreline: Malta 51, Israel 35. Natalie, it's been a pleasure working with you in the commentary box. What are your final thoughts on this game?
I think both teams will be hugely proud of that performance. I think for Malta it sets them up great in terms of their game tomorrow against Gibraltar, which I think, looking at that scoreline and looking at the scoreline that Gibraltar had and the fact that Israel have improved as they've gone along, I think it will be a really interesting game to see. So I think they're really well prepared for tomorrow, and I'm just so impressed with Israel. So impressed.
Yeah, it's just look at them there, enjoyed every minute, dancing with their friends. Enemies for 60 minutes, or opponents should we say, for 60 minutes, but very much enjoying their post-match entertainment. So good to see Israel back involved in this international competition here in Newcastle. What a finish to a great game. Might not be the result they wanted, Israel, but we've witnessed some real improvements in performances. Just loading up one side there for the centre pass Wales. Lewis just moved across to the wing attack side.